y'all. I'm going to come out and try. Okay. I'm actually. All right. Let's see here. All right. I'm going live tonight on my. I just switched phones, so I'm going live now on my iPhone. I'm going live on a whole nother phone because I done made up my mind that we're not gonna be denied. I done made up my mind, and and men, do me a favor. This is those times that these are the times that you have to stay in the fight, that you have to stay in the game, that you have to stay locked in. You have to stay, like I said, this is not how we usually do this, but guess what? I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I just switched up phones. Listen, if you know anybody that was on the previous live, do me a favor, just tag them. Just tag them real quick and just let them know that we back. Just let them know that we back. Just let them know all is well. Just let them know that Man Cave Podcast is still going live. Just let them know. There he is. Watch this. Watch this. Yeah. See? 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 Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, it's something. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on, but man, I tell y'all, we we doing what we can to go live. We really are. We doing exactly. I see the live. I'm connected and all these good things, and I'm just not going to allow the enemy to win. I'm just not going to allow you know uh, anything to get the glory. I don't know. Maybe the person that really needs this live tonight hadn't jumped on yet. I don't know. Maybe tonight, you know, yeah, let's keep saying, okay, okay, all right, okay, okay. So yeah, we trying. I see you, man of God. I see you. I see. See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? This is how I told y'all
Finally got it.
we wasn't gonna be denied. I told y'all we wasn't gonna be denied, man of God. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How are you? Can you hear me?
I'm fantastic, man. I'm fantastic. Yeah, we working. I got my volume all the way up. Okay. If you could, you can get some volume.
Okay. Mic check 1 2. Check 1 2. How's that?
Okay.
Can you hear?
Let's see. Let's see. You there?
1 2. Check 1. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I hear you, but it's kind of low. It's real low. We're working on it. We're gonna get it.
Check
I
1.
promise you
Check
we're
2.
gonna get
Check
it.
1. Check 2. Oh man. It's on there.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Yeah, very, very little. Like, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Okay.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. Okay.
I can
Good
hear
deal.
myself.
Good deal.
Where's your AirPods? Your AirPods.
Yeah, this is how you know, man of God. I want to thank you while we're working on the sound. I want to thank you so very much for joining us tonight for Man Cave Podcast. You know what I'm saying? And that's just when a man makes his mind up to get unmuted, here comes distractions. Yeah. When a man make his mind up that he getting ready to voice what's going on with him, here comes despair. When a man makes the conscious decision that, hey, now is the time that I'm going to tell somebody. Now is the time that I'm going to get the help that I need. Now is the time that I'm getting ready to beat this thing that's been plaguing me, this thing that's been holding me down, this thing that's been causing me not to be able to sleep at night, this thing that's been causing me to want to leave my house and never come back, this thing that's been causing me to walk away from my family, this thing that's been causing me to take my gun and go into an open parking lot and just end it all, this thing that's been causing me to not really be myself, to not really be who I want to be. When I make the decision to unmute myself, here comes the distractions. When I make the decision to open up my mouth, here comes the enemy. When I make the decision that I'm no longer going to remain silent, I'm no longer going to keep my hand over my mouth, I'm no longer going to dumb down. I made the decision that tonight I was going to say what I needed to say. I was going to get the deliverance that I needed. I was going to get the breakthrough that I needed. Here comes somebody to try to get me to shut my mouth. But if you just keep praying, if you just keep tugging, if you just, okay, that didn't work. Okay, this connect. Let me try to connect this. Okay, if I need to switch phones, okay, let me double check my internet. Whatever you got to do to get the word out, to get that thing off of you, do what you have to do.
Okay.
Man of God, you with me?
You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, man, like you said, switching everything, switch phones, switch laptops, put the earphones in, earbuds, tried everything. This is good. We're good. We locked in. We're good.
But
We're good. Okay.
I want to thank you so very much, man of God, for being on the podcast tonight. I do want to apologize sincerely for the technical difficulty, but I just believe that God don't make mistakes.
He doesn't.
That God don't make mistakes, that maybe somebody was running late, that maybe, you know what I'm saying, that because we was able to start over, because we was able to go another route, because we were delayed and not denied, somebody is going to get the word that they need tonight. Somebody is going to hear this broadcast. Somebody is going to experience this night tonight.
Yes, sir.
So I want to welcome mighty man of God. Let me do a bio real quick of you, sir. And then we're going to jump into it.
Okay.
This is Mr. Shamal Peets. I hope I'm saying that
you
right.
Got it. That's right. Yes,
Shamal Peets, born in 1985 in St. Thomas, Virgin Islands. Come on, Virgin Islands? Yeah, come on, Virgin Islands.
Yeah, that's me.
He is the proud husband to Aisha Peets, father to Naomi, Natalie, Grace, and Nathan Asher. So he surrendered his life to the Lord at the age of 17. He's the author of the book Whole Again. He's a certified Christian counselor, co-owner of Curious Kids Learning Center, pastor of Refresh City Church, loves all things basketball. I saw the Kobe picture in the back. We gonna before we get off the live, we're gonna talk a little bit about this NBA draft last night.
Oh,
he loves gardening and he loves music. He also plays lead guitar. He's dedicated to serving the community and the Lord Jesus Christ. Do me a favor, Facebook Live, and welcome brother Pastor Shamal Peets.
Thank you.
Yeah. How you doing tonight?
Man, I'm doing well, man. How are you, man? I'm doing well.
How you doing tonight, my brother?
I'm well, man. I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Man, we gonna dive into
Let's do it.
You know, we're talking about this is part 2 of the segment Unmute, you know, men and mental health, and we talking about it, and I know that you can actually relate to it. You know what I'm saying? So if you could just share with us some of your own personal story when it comes to dealing, you know, with mental health.
Okay, man, we jump straight in there. When we talk about mental health, first thing, let's define it. You know, when we say mental health, it's not only psychological, it's also emotional. And so for me, for a long time, as I was growing up, I always thought that I had to think before I had the opportunity to feel.
Yeah.
And so what that done for me over the years is creating me a pattern, is that when I felt an emotion, whether it be, you know, anger, or even if I wanted to cry, I would think that me expressing this emotion, how would it make me look in the moment? And so I go through from my childhood up into my adult life thinking that expressing emotion is not something that I need to do.
Right.
Because one, I'm told I'm a man and men don't show certain emotion, certain emotion. So for me, it was growing up not being suppressed over the years of actually wanting to cry from incidents and moments that I rightfully was supposed to cry in it because something hurt me and I was supposed to cry, but because I was told stop crying or shut up that crying or stop being a punk, stop being a sissy. Can we be real? I'm just gonna be real,
Right. Right.
you know.
Hey, I'm with it, baby. I'm
And
with it.
so
I'm so with it.
that got embedded in my mental mind, and so what it did, it cut off my heart, and so I go through life trying to feel with my mind. It's impossible. I can't feel with my mind. I use my mind to think. I feel with my heart. And so I had to get to the place where I begin to make the connection between heart and mind. And so for me, it was dealing with the structure that I put in my mind. The number one was it's okay to feel emotion. It's okay to be emotional.
It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
okay.
So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, I can give you story after story, but in a nutshell, that was my main dilemma, was connecting my heart, my thoughts, but also realize that I have a heart and I'm supposed to feel.
Man, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. And you was talking about, you mentioned the suppressing it,
Mm-hmm.
and men, when we suppress things, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we suppressing something, we replace it with something else.
Yes.
We replace it with alcohol, or we replace
Yeah.
it with drugs, or we replace
Yeah.
it with marijuana, or we replace it
Mm-hmm.
with porn. And
Mm-hmm.
even when you suppress it and you replace it with those things, it don't take it away. Just
No.
because you suppress it, it's still there.
Right.
You still got to deal with it eventually. So
Yeah.
it's like, when you gonna make your mind up that you can no longer suppress it.
Yes,
When you gonna
absolutely.
make your mind up that, hey man, you know what I'm saying, I'm just covering this thing up,
Yeah.
but it's still here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
and and I don't know, when did this thing of, as young boys we not supposed to cry, as young boys we not supposed to have feelings, as young boys, they want you to toughen up, they want you to this, they want you to that, they want you to do all these type of things, instead of allowing you that, hey, if I fell off my bike,
Mm-hmm.
that hurt,
Yep.
that hurt. And sometimes, you know what I'm saying, we go through hurt and they don't want us to express our hurt. Sometimes crying, you know what I'm saying? That's how
Yes.
you get it out. That's how you express that it hurted. But
Mm-hmm.
then, as young men, like you were saying, hey, stop all that crying. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Stop crying. Men don't cry. Boys don't cry. Who told
Right.
you that? What that's
Right.
written there?
Mm-hmm.
Who made
Yeah.
that law?
Come on.
You know?
Society. That's what happens.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, but this is good, man. This is real good.
Yeah.
Pastor, you are a pastor of a church.
Yes, sir.
So, as a member of the fivefold ministry,
Mm-hmm.
as a pastor, as a shepherd with your own flock,
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with mental health in the kingdom? How
Okay.
do you deal with mental health in church?
One of my phrases, and members of Refresh City will tell you this. I say this all the time. Jesus is the model, and one of my favorite scriptures is Mark chapter 6, when Jesus before he fed the 5,000, in verse 34, he says he was moved with compassion because they looked like sheep without a shepherd,
Yeah.
and before he fed them, the Bible says that he sat and taught them many things. And so oftentimes, for me, what I do is it's always about teaching. It's not so much as just spiritualizing it, because some of the stuff that we have gone through hurt us physically, right? Hurt us in ways that I know the scriptures, I know Jesus, and I love the Lord. But what do I do in these moments where my mama hurt me or my daddy hurt me? I love the Bible, I love the Lord, and I know he says honor that mother and father, but I can't honor my mama because she done this to me. I can't honor my daddy because I can't honor these people. What you mean honor that mother and father? And so I can't. So for me, I've learned to find the median because there has to be, according to First John, he said, "I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health,
Come
even
on,
as your
love that
soul
scripture.
prospers." Because your soul makes up of your mind, your will, and your desires, and your emotions. And so all parts of me needs to be touched, not just my spirit,
Come on.
but my body needs to be touched. My thought needs to be touched, my emotions and my desires. Because like you mentioned before, if I neglect any part of me, I'm going to look for something to fill it. And so I will look to the addictions.
That's
I
so
will look
true.
to what we call the anesthesia, if you will. What can numb this feeling? What can numb it? So for me, I set up things to where we're not just teaching you on Sunday, but we're setting up places where you can talk. We're setting up counseling. Yes, there's deliverance and safety in a multitude of counselors. So Jesus sat and taught these people some stuff. He heard them out. The woman at the well said, "I don't have no husband." Yes, you do.
Yeah.
And so he begin to deal with your life. There's some things in your life that I got to deal with. And so we have to get to the point where we're meeting people in the places where they are. My life is jacked up. I got a man, he ain't my man. I'm living with him, what the case is. But can you see where I am and still treat me like a human? Can you still treat me like a man, even though, watch this, even though I have all these struggles, even though I have all these hangups, all these dilemmas, all these issues, can you still respect me? We could go further into that in a minute, but can you still respect me as a man? And so my heart is always to my men is to always respect them, irregardless of their past or even their present. Respect them as a man, because when you respect a man, you have his ear. And and that,
Ah!
wives, take that home.
And people don't realize, man, that a lot of times at the end of the day, that's what men want. We just want to be respected.
That's it.
We just want to
Mm-hmm.
be respected.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the Bible even says it. You know, wives. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Honor and respect your
Honor,
husband.
yes.
You know, that's the
That's
book. That's
the
the
book.
word of God.
That's the book.
Because Jesus knows. You know what I'm saying? That at the end of the day, what a man really
Yes,
wants.
it does.
Sometimes a man can get so much peace in
Mm-hmm.
his home from just being respected.
Come on.
Sometimes men, if you really want to, if you really want, ladies, let me just go and drop this nugget for
Go
the
ahead.
ladies. Just if you really want to see a man just turn cartwheels and bend over backwards
Mm-hmm.
to supply your needs and to make you happy, respect it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Show him crazy respect, even if you think he don't deserve it. And ain't nothing cut a man low as when you are able to respect him and he don't even think he deserves it. And you
Come on,
respect
man.
him anyway.
Yeah. That's it.
Man, I'm telling
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay, we
we
keep
gonna
going.
keep moving
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I got a lot, I got a
Come
bunch
on.
of more questions.
Come on. I'm ready.
But let me ask, when you believe men, excuse me, why do you believe
No.
men keep quiet when it comes to mental health?
Oh,
Why are so many men muted?
I can only speak from my personal experience, and then we can make a general statement from there, if that's safe to say. For me, because I was told that I, it's like your childhood upbringing. Let's go there. Because how you are raised or brought up in the home determines how you operate in society.
Come on,
So if in the home, as a boy, I'm told to be quiet, shut up, stop talking, the list goes on. Or, and watch this, if that same kind of environment in the house, let's use the word toxic, is to where the person I view as the guardian or my parent, if they are quiet and shut down, in my mind as a child, I'm thinking that's how I'm supposed to operate. Because if I'm expressing to you that I'm having a problem, and you shut down or give me the cold shoulder or don't respond to me, even though I'm pouring my heart out, you're letting me know as a child that this is how I'm supposed to operate. I don't know any better because you parents, and I didn't mean to go here, but parents, we become the first image of God that our children see.
Come
And
on.
so what we display to our children will have them operate into place. For me, that's what it was, right? And so it was like shutting down, the being quiet. Now here I'm older, trying to live my life, and when something emotional came up in me, what's wrong with you? Nothing.
Wow.
No, it's all on your face. No, I'm fine because I'm taught, right? No, you say, don't do what I do what I say. But honestly, I'm doing what you're doing because I'm watching you. And so, most men are quiet. Not all, most. You ask them how their childhood was. Ask them how they were brought up. A majority of them will say either there was in a home that they weren't allowed to be expressed, or if they were expressive, it went on deaf ears, so it created in them a vow that I would never express myself. And so there's a pattern that keeps going. In humans, we are creatures of habit. We're just going to repeat patterns, rather to be good or bad. It's a habit that keeps on going because the result I got from it is the result I saw in the past. And so I need that same result in my present and in my future. So I keep doing it because that's the only answer that I knew. So for most men, quiet comes into my childhood. It comes into, am I going to be respected? Are you going to hear me? And here's the big one, and I'm going to kind of digress on this point. If I express myself, will you use my vulnerability against me? Adam was
When
naked
you
and
get mad
ashamed.
at me, when you get mad at me, and I shared something with you in my vulnerable state,
Okay.
and you get mad at me, are you gonna throw it in my face?
Right.
Am I gonna have to hear this again when you having a bad
Right.
day?
And you mad at me now.
And you mad at me?
Okay.
Wow. And it's
And
it's so amazing
yeah.
how so many times when you discover, when you help, when a person talks about their mental health,
Yeah.
especially men,
Mm-hmm.
90% of the time it's from something from their childhood.
Yep.
It's from something from their upbringing.
Yep.
And it's like you have carried this,
Mm-hmm.
for years after years after years after years after years after years. And every day and year that it went on, it just got bigger and it got bigger
Mm-hmm.
and it got bigger and it got bigger. And then you know what I'm saying, to finally it got the best of it.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It's,
Yes.
man, that's oh man.
Yeah.
You know, Pastor, you I mentioned in your bio that
Mm-hmm.
you're married and you have kids,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
How does that, having kids, how does that affect, you know, your mental health? Like my guest from a couple of weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago, Thomas, he was saying that he can start seeing that's one of the reasons why he
Mm-hmm.
realized he needed to get help,
Yep.
because some of the things that he was dealing with, that he was mute about, that he
Mm-hmm.
wasn't discussing,
Mm-hmm.
he started seeing them in his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So his thing was, I need to go on and get some help so that I can help her, so
Yes.
that she don't go through years of what I went through. So I
Absolutely.
ask you the
Mm-hmm.
question, how does it affect your children?
For me, I noticed my response to them when I first had them wasn't healthy. And so I was responding to them how I was responded to when I was a child. Because remember, I could only produce from the seed that was planted in me. And so scripture says every seed produces after its own kind. And so what was planted in me is going to keep showing up in me until I lay the axe to the root and pull this thing up and deal with it. So as for me, I went through years and years of counseling and years of digging up wounds uncovering things that I wanted to bury. And I didn't realize that even though I buried it, it was still alive and kicking in the casket. And so all it took was a moment in time to pull what I thought was buried, pull all of it up to the surface. And then I end up looking foolish because anger rests in the bosom of a fool. And so I was that silent angry. And I would blow up and be so explosive and not realizing, man, this is not healthy for my kids. Like, they don't deserve an angry daddy. They don't deserve a quiet and silent daddy. No, they deserve a joyful, playful, light-hearted father who's able to see their need and fulfill it, who's able to give them love and provision and nourishment and protection as any good father would.
Come on.
And so as for me, I had to look at myself, not my wife, not my children, not my neighbor, not even my parents. I had to say, even though what happened to me, it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But I'm responsible for the change I want to see. And that's when maturity kicks in, because I can no longer blame somebody else. Yes, even though what they done to me hurt and it was painful. And, we say forgive and forget. I can't forget. But as I start my healing, the sting of it is not the same anymore. And as I start to forgive and release the pain and all the issues that came with it, I begin to start my healing. And thank God for the counseling. I started my healing. And, one part of it was dealing with my heart and realizing it's okay. You're still a man, even though you want to cry in this moment. You want to scream, because here you are 30, I'm 37 now, but here you are 30 years old, still living from an 8-year-old boy who would never have the opportunity to wanted to scream and cry and say, stop, you're hurting me. But here I am at 30, still feeling that little boy who never got his voice. And so for me, when I looked at my girls, I'm like, no, you don't deserve the 8-year-old me. You deserve the present me, the healed, the nurtured, the nourished, the growing me. So I want to be a good father. When you look up and my kids look at me, I want to say, that's my daddy. I don't want them to resent me because I was the Grinch. I don't want them to resent me because I was nasty and mean.
Yes,
I don't want them to resent me because I wasn't playful with them. My kids like to play hide and seek in the house. My kids, they like to skate in this house. It's just crazy. But I want them to see that my daddy enjoyed my presence just as much as he enjoyed me.
That's it.
That's
That's it. That
yeah.
it in
Yeah,
a nutshell, man. I'm telling y'all, man. This is I really, and now you know, as we go into the show, now you can see why the issues with the technical issues
Oh
and the
yeah.
technical difficulties. I mean,
Oh
we're
yeah.
seeing, you know what I'm saying, people come in, we're seeing, tear emojis, we seeing, because at the end of the day, the desire is to get free.
Yeah.
We share our stories and we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, not to boast, not to brag, not to make anybody feel bad or anything,
That's right.
but to let you know that there is a escape.
Yes, sir.
There is a way out. You
Yes,
can
sir.
get over this thing. You don't have to allow mental health to get the best of you.
Come on, man. Come on.
This is good,
Yes,
man.
yes, freedom. Yeah.
When it comes to what type of coping mechanisms, I had a last week. I had a good buddy of mine who's the owner of personal skincare, self-care.
Okay.
He's a real big advocate for men and self-care.
Okay.
Taking care of their skin and taking care of their bodies and taking care of their mind.
Right.
What type of self-care strategies do you use when it comes to coping, with mental health?
Okay. In all of us, God has placed in us, according to Ecclesiastes, a purpose in us. And there's a natural side of us, that a natural talent or gift or something, a desire in us, that it's a healthy outlet that God has placed in all of us. And so oftentimes we, as men, we need to find, if you look at most men are, they work on cars, sports, and the list can go on, or fishing, the
Right.
list can go on and on and on. As for me, I have discovered that I love gardening. I got a garden in the backyard. As you mentioned, I love basketball. Lakers is my favorite team. Kobe's one of my favorite players. Rest
I
RIP.
love
It's
it. I love it.
it's for me, and it's okay, even though I'm a pastor. And I got to minister on Sunday. I got to counsel people throughout the week. I got to do all this other stuff. At the end of the day, I'm still a human and I'm still a man. And so there's parts of me, the human side of me, that needs attention. I got a wife and I got children. I got things I got to do. And so I have to, you don't want to be so in the clouds that you're missing the purpose in the
That's
earth.
good.
You see what I'm saying? And you got to get to the place where you don't become so indulged in one thing that you miss everything else. And so it's, for me, it was discovering, like, I'm gonna go a little deep for one more second. I was so self-righteous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew the scriptures. I mean, I mean, if you sneezed wrong, you had a demon. I'm talking about, I was
Yeah,
running
yeah,
down,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
running down the
yeah.
list, and
Come on.
people were not like welcoming to me because I was walking like a Pharisee. Like, I knew all of this stuff, but yet I wasn't approachable. I knew how to quote the scriptures, but yeah, I didn't know how to love people. Like, I didn't know how to accept people and their flaws. And so I wasn't welcoming. And so what God had to do with me is to get me to where as Muhammad Ali called, put me in the rope-a-dope. He backed me into the corner. And so
Come on.
I was trying to
Come on.
swing on God, but he kept ducking and ducking because he had to tire me out. He had to tire me out because I was tired of trying to spiritualize my pain. Pain hurts.
And
It
that's what we
hurts.
do in the body of Christ. We spiritualize everything,
Yes.
especially our pain.
Yeah. Pain is pain. Now, it becomes spiritual when we don't deal with it. And of course, demonic influences happen when we don't deal with this particular emotion, because now they can attach themselves to an emotion to where now anger is a natural emotion. The Bible says, be angry, but do not sin. So God is saying you can be angry. But what happens was, now it becomes spiritual is when I'm always angry and my anger now turns to rage. And rage turns to violence. And I start beating on my wife. Come on. I start beating on my kids. It's not even discipline. I'm just
I'm just
beating on them.
beating
that's
because
that's
it's
not
the
even,
rage.
come on. And so that's when you realize, okay, something is wrong, right? And so for me, you have to find it. You got to find that in between, that median, to where I'm not so self-righteous, but yet I'm not so carnal. There's something in me, and realize we are more spirit than we are flesh, for sure. But there's something in us that we have to discover. I got to get to the place where I'm living in the earth. And so I'm in this earth suit. And so parts of me need to be uncovered. So parts of me that needs to be addressed. Because if I don't address it, I'm going to spiritualize my pain and call, oh God, can I say, I might get in trouble for this. I'm going to call everything a demon, when sometimes it could be me and not addressing the issue that's in front of my face. And because I didn't address it, it keeps perpetuating over and over and over.
So sometimes you can't speak in tongues over everything. Sometimes
Okay.
you just got to say, "Hey, I need some help." You can say it in English. You can say it in Spanish. You can say it
Okay.
in Chinese. You can say
If
it however you need to say it. I just need to. I need to
hey,
address this pain that I'm going through.
if you cuss me out and you supposed to be my friend, I'm not finna speak in tongues. I'm finna call you and say, what problem you got with me? You see what I'm saying? And what happens? If I don't address my issue with you,
Yeah,
then it starts moving into unforgiveness
come on.
and resentment. Then it turns spiritual. But we have to deal with what's in our face in the moment.
Yes.
Because if I don't confront it, I condone it. And so if I don't confront you cussing me out, that's giving a signal to you that this is okay for me to treat him this particular way when I don't like it. And so I have to get to the place where I'm expressive with how I'm feeling, what's going on, because if not, then I will mask. I get around you and I'm, oh yeah, but deep down inside, I can't stand you.
Toe up from the floor.
Deep down inside, I don't want to go nowhere near you, because I'm dealing with something that I have not addressed, and it's deep in my heart. It's not in here. It's in here, in my heart. Oh, man.
And I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes, sir.
This is exactly what we need
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
shed light on this. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? For people to see men being able to dialogue, and men on the live, and men being honest and like, man,
Mm-hmm.
this is good. Man, I needed this. You know, we need to talk about this more. I think that when men find other men that are comfortable with discussing their issues, it helps them to say, you know what, I'm going through the same thing. You
Absolutely.
know what I'm saying? And it
Absolutely.
becomes like my pastor said, it becomes a ripple effect.
Yeah.
That, you know, I saw Pastor Peets talk about it. He went
Mm-hmm.
through it, he experienced it, but he ain't let him get the best of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
because he ain't let him get the best of him, I can't let him get the best of me. I can't let it get the best
Can.
of me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, man, this is you wrote a book.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the book.
I
The
got it
book
right
you
here.
wrote. You know, hey, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. What made you decide, you know, to write the book?
Man. Okay, I'm trying to see what angle I want to take with this, because this we can go. I don't want to be here too long,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, we
for the
good.
book,
We good.
man, the nucleus, the center of the whole book. If you look on the cover of it, you see that bridge
Yeah.
right there. That bridge is between Baytown and LaPorte. That's the Fred Hartman Bridge. It was 2010. I was and all this we just shared. This is this moment. I grew up and I was, molested. I was abused on different levels, and can you imagine at 4 years old, where everything all this started? Here I am now. I was about 23 when all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
19 years. Think about this, of not being able to express, hey, somebody done something to me. Hey, this hurts. I have pain in my heart. What do I do? 19, 20 years of just going through cycle after cycle, relationship after relationship. This bridge was my breaking point. It was a 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. I was getting ready to jump off of that bridge. It was I don't know, some people might be on here, but it was
Yeah.
on the news. It was in the newspaper. Helicopters were outside. They shut down the bridge for a couple of hours. It was a scene like a movie. Like you see the movie, it was police, like 5 different apartments. It was undercover vehicles, helicopters flying around, fire trucks. Both sides of the bridge shut down because I was at my breaking point. How many men get to that point
How many?
where I was
Ah.
broken? And you know what came up? The 4-year-old who wanted to scream, but I was muted.
Mm.
It was the 8-year-old who wanted to scream, but it was the 12-year-old who was abused. I wanted to scream, but I was muted. It was the 15-year-old who was muted. It was the 16-year-old. It was
Yeah.
the 20. I was muted. All of these different phases and these traumatic experiences muted me because I was never allowed to speak. So here I am, 20 years later.
Yeah. Yeah.
All it took was an argument I had with somebody. They're not even responsible for what's going on with me.
They wasn't there when you was good.
They were just the mechanism that was used to pull something out of me, and I can't blame nobody. It was me. It was me who was in pain. And so when I got to this bridge, I was hanging. If you get the book, you'll see it. I might give away 2 books
Yeah.
tonight. I'm gonna give
Yes.
away some books. I want to
Yeah.
do that. But anyway, I was literally, brother. I'm telling you, as God is my witness, as I'm looking at you,
Yeah.
I was literally hanging off of the bridge, and the only thing was holding me on that bridge. I had my hands interlocked on the beam that's under the bridge, and my feet were dangling in the air. And something grabbed my hand, as tangible as I can hug my wife, and pulled me back on the other side of that bridge. I know it's nobody but God and these guardian angels. What I'm saying tonight is that bridge represents a lot of men who say, I'm ready to end this because I'm tired. I'm tired. T.D. Jakes said something the other day, and I love it. He said, being a man is tough. It's hard being a man. You got to lead the family. You got to lead the children. You got to lead this. That you're demanded at work. You're demanded at home. You're demanded in the community. You're demanded. But I love it because God put the capacity in us to fulfill it.
To handle it. Come on.
He knew as men what we could handle. He said, I won't put more on you than you're able to bear. I knew you can be a man. That's why I created you to be a man. I need a man just like you in your family, for your society, for your church, for the world, for the state, for the city. I need a man just like you. And so the temptation of the enemy is to have men question their identity. Am I really a man? If I cry, will I still be a man? That's why this is not a knock against anybody's book.
Yeah.
I don't like nobody telling women to act like a lady and think like a man. No, act like a lady, be a lady. Don't be a man. Stop competing me. Stop competing. Like a lady. No, be a lady. Act like a lady. Be a lady. There's nothing wrong with being a graceful woman. And so most of the time, us men, we're fighting women wanting to be men. And so men, we have two modes. We're gonna fight or we're gonna flee. And I'm not gonna fight with no woman. Why am I gonna fight with you? And so I'm gonna run away from it. Okay, you are the man that you need.
Wow.
So for me, I grew up around a whole bunch of women that was trying to teach me how to be a man. It never worked. It never worked.
Oh man, this is it.
And so
he puts it on. Hey, that
the
bridge.
book. It's the bridge.
And let me tell you, I've been across that bridge numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
But from this day forward, I will never be able to look at that bridge. Because I don't think that, and as anybody on this broadcast cannot hear your story, go across that bridge and not begin to just thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're here tonight because you wouldn't take the plunge off that bridge. Somebody tonight is chains are literally breaking because you wouldn't jump off that bridge. Because the angels said, "Nah, we can't let him go like this. We can't let him go like that because he don't know it. But some years down the line, he's gonna be on a Friday night podcast, and somebody is gonna hear his story." And somebody is going to realize he ain't jumped, so I'm not going to jump. Right. He ain't quit, so I'm not going to quit. It's the ripple effect.
That's it.
It's the ripple effect. So, man, how can somebody get the book?
It's on Amazon. You can just type in the title, hold again, or type my name, Shamal Peets. I have a few copies on me. Like I said tonight, I want to give away a couple books. If a man would like one,
come on.
Just say, hey, I would like one.
Listen. If you're watching, if you're on the live, I want the first 3 people that can type in me, just me, M-E, the first 3 people. We're gonna make sure that you get a copy of Pastor Peets' book. Just type me, just me, the first 3 me. Right. And I know first my live might be a little delayed, but the first 3 I see, I'm calling your name out, and I'm gonna make sure that we're gonna make sure that you get your copy.
We will. Book. Yeah. And I'll mail it to you. I'll sign it, mail it to you. I have one here.
There you go.
On the show.
Just that simple. Just that simple. So the 3 me's, I'm looking for the 3 me's. You know, for those. But man, I Pastor Peets, I cannot thank you enough For those that don't know, this is actually my first time, actually sitting and talking with Pastor Peets. But I just believe that this won't be our last time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I just believe that we are traveling. We have the same agenda
Yeah.
when it comes to this. So, um, I got one more
Yeah.
question that I have here that I want to ask
Okay.
you. Somebody that may be dealing with mental health that's saying, I have it, I'm ashamed that I have it. What are some ways to help people get over the embarrassment, the shame, especially men,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
and be able to talk about it? Because what'll happen is they'll hear this podcast and they'll, woo, this is it.
Yeah.
I got it now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
a curveball will come. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like what I was talking about earlier. But how can they still stay on fire to say, hey, I'm unmuted and I'm staying unmuted?
Well, the first thing for men, and this is the big one, because we can't go any further in our healing, in our growth, if we are in denial.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm in denial that I have a problem,
Come on.
how do I discover if I have a problem? Look at your life. Am I a avid gambler?
Come on.
I don't spend all our family savings on gambling. Am I just wasting my life away on things that are bringing no fruit to me? Am I just drunk all the time? Am I getting high all the time? Am I in the home but I'm not available? Just look at your life. This has nothing to do with no other person. Look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: am I creating fruit in my life? Is there fruit that is showing in my life that my children can eat on?
Yeah.
If you have children.
Yeah.
If not, just look at yourself, because believe it or not, we carry the seed, and so things are always growing out of us, and that's a whole nother thing. But what am I producing? Is it healthy? Can I bring this to society? Can I show this out in public? What am I doing? So the number one thing is I can't be in denial. Number two is, and I know this is easier said for most men. This is easier said, but I have to find someone where I can be vulnerable with. There is no other way. I have to find someone. I know it's hard. Just don't get it wrong. That is extremely difficult to do when it comes to men and wanting to express. I just feel God even just right there.
Yes.
Like wanting to express. God, I want to be naked and ashamed, but I don't know who. And this is where we just, if even if you're not a Christian man, I'm a Christian man, but if you're not a Christian man, those two are critical: denial and finding someone that I can be vulnerable with. Because now, what you don't want to end up doing, this is number three, is just start being busy. I'm at work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, so I don't have the opportunity or the chance to address my issues. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I'm busy all the time. This is for women too. You kind of feel that, like, I'm so busy, I don't have the opportunity, or I'm trying to psych myself out mentally, that I don't have to address the pain that I'm feeling here internally. Because when we talk about mental health, it's the psychological and your emotional well-being. Exactly. So it's your mind and your heart. How am I feeling? What am I thinking? And so it's not denial. It's speaking with someone I can be vulnerable with. It's not becoming busy. And it comes to the place to where now, this kind of the way I kind of bring it all in, is to where there has to be a time where you slow down and you tap into what God has placed. These things happen and it doesn't feel good, but God has a way of saying, I know it's painful, but give that to me. And most men, here's what we do, brother. We give it to God, but we keep looking to make sure you got it. So, and we take it back because, God, you're taking too long to heal me.
Right.
And so
Right.
you got to think about this. It's like I use this analogy a lot. It's like bad credit. And how you want to repair your credit and you spent 10 years just being crazy with your credit. Now you're trying to repair your credit in 1 month. You're not going to get an 800 score in 1 month when your score is 400. It's going to
Exactly.
take time. So the Bible says in Genesis chapter 8, as long as the earth remains, there will always be seed time and harvest. And so there are some seeds that we have sown over the years that those things have to grow. And God is so full of grace and mercy, is that He will wipe our slate clean.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
clean as if nothing has ever happened before. Like, what happened? What did you do? And He has a way of wiping all of that clean, such pure and holy and white. He said, I want to make it all pure, but you have to get to the place where I'm not in denial and saying, ain't nothing wrong with me. Brother, there is something wrong with you. Why are you not at home? Why people have to look for you when you,
Right.
oh God, Adam,
Right.
where are you? I left you in a position. Why are you not there? Why are you, oh man. Oftentimes we move out of position following the wrong things, the wrong crowd, the wrong people, the wrong desires.
Yeah.
And God is saying, don't be in denial.
Come on.
Talk. There's comfort in counselors.
Yeah.
Don't get too busy. Don't get too busy that you're just avoiding. Come on, if you avoid it, it's going to chase you down anyway. You might as well deal with it. And finally, get into me. And this is being God. Get into God. Get into the place where we become like, the Apostle John. The Bible says that he laid on Jesus' bosom at the dinner table. All these men, these big, strong, bearded men, hot. But he's laying on the bosom of Jesus at the Last Supper. Do you understand how powerful that is? That I am so unashamed to be a follower of Christ. I'm in love with him. That I'm willing to lay down, watch this, my masculinity, and put everything that I have. I don't care what no one says about me. I don't care what anybody got to think about me. I'm in love with one person who can change my life, who has changed my life. And if he is the one that can change my life, why not lay in his lap to where he can whisper, oh God, ooh, I feel like I'm preaching.
And I can hear him so clearly.
He can whisper something to me that only I can hear. Nobody else is going to hear this. That's we got to get so close to Jesus that he is the only voice I hear. He's not in the earthquake. He's not in the fire. He's in the whisper, the still small voice. We're looking for the theatrical side of Jesus when he says, I'm in the whisper though. Mm-hmm. And so for most men, finding the place to where I am, I throttle down to gear one. And I want to hear the whisper. I want to hear the whisper.
And that's, people don't understand. That's real manhood.
Mm-hmm.
That's true masculinity. You
right.
know? That's true manhood in a nutshell, right?
In a
there.
nutshell.
That I'm so strong, that I'm so tough, that my shoulders so broad, that I'm gonna lay all that to the side and allow myself to be putty in his hand. To allow myself to just lay in his bosom. To allow myself to just say, hey, God, I'm yours.
Yeah.
Have your way.
Yeah. And then, there's nothing more. In 1 Kings chapter 19, Elijah was depressed. He ran from Jezebel. Mm-hmm. And he sat under the juniper tree and he said, Lord, take my life. I'm tired. He was depressed. He was a man. He just killed all these prophets on the mountain. He killed all these prophets by the power of God. Yeah. And in the very next day, if you will, he's depressed and ready to die. Come on. Because I can't take. How many men have experienced victories moments where you have testimonies of God's goodness, but in the very next breath, something happened where it triggered something in you. And now you forget the goodness of the Lord. And now you're saying, Lord, I'm ready. I can't take this. So he was looking for the earthquake. He was looking for the fire. But God says, I'm in the still small voice. That's why you ain't going to find me. You're looking for everything else, and you're looking for everything else to be what it can't be for you. I'm the whisper. And so for men tonight, my prayer is we remember our victories.
Come on.
Look how far you've come.
Come on.
Look how many hurdles you jumped over. Yeah, I know your daddy may not have been there. Mama may not have been there. You wasn't dealt the best hand in the world. You wasn't born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But look where you are today.
Look.
Society says Black men are killing themselves at a higher rate than any other race in America. The Black man is not in the homes with the woman. The Black men are fatherless. 57% of men in jail are Black, and 20 to 30% of them grew up without their father.
Single parent homes.
You see where this is going?
Yeah.
Somebody has to say, I'm needed. I got to be there. I can't keep going this route. I can't keep going here. There has to be something. I didn't mean to go that far, but I'm sorry.
No, you good. You good. But that's the unmute.
About men, it just comes out.
That's the unmute. That's why we have this platform here. This is exactly why. And man, I want to thank you so very much for joining us. Our time, I mean, we got off to a late start, but man, I just looked at the time like, hey, we just rolled.
Yeah, we roll with it. It's fine. Yeah.
Listen, Facebook Live, people that are on live, can you do me a favor and help me thank Pastor Peets for joining us tonight? Man. Listen, man of God, I'll be in touch with you.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna close out. I'll be in touch with you about the 3 copies of the book.
Okay.
I want to make sure that I get a copy of it for myself.
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna talk offline.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got to get together and go have lunch. We got to do something because I just believe that tonight was not just a good moment, but tonight was a God moment.
Oh, that's good. Yes.
Tonight was God. So again, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll talk to you soon.
Once
again, people, Pastor Peets. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Be blessed, man of God.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Listen, I want to thank everybody what a show, y'all. What a absolutely phenomenal show. I had no idea that this was going to go the way that it went, but God knew all things. Listen, before we end the show tonight, I want you to please, if you know of a man, a husband, a brother, a friend, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, that is dealing or has dealt with mental health, some form of mental health, depression, suicide, do me a favor, get them this podcast, get them this video, let them watch this. Just let them watch it. You ain't got to go into a long dissertation. You ain't got to go into a long about this and that. Just have them to watch it. To just watch it. Listen, I'm getting ready to close out, but of course, before I end every show, I like to do a B take. And it's just free game from Coach B that you can take with you and apply and use. Normally, I use my own personal quotes, but tonight I want to use a quote from Mauro Ronaldo. And it says, I believe the biggest stigma right now with mental health is that a lot of men are not talking about it. But my prayer, my hope, and my belief is that tonight a man is making the conscious decision to hit the mute button and go unmute. That a man is making the decision that he's been silent long enough. That a man is making the decision that I've been quiet long enough, that I've been dealing with this. And again, a lot of times this mental health is it's from something from your childhood. It's from something from your childhood that we just never got help, that we just never got healed. And what we've been doing was being suppressed. We just been suppressing it by being busy, suppressing it by filling the void, suppressing it by doing other things, suppressing it by acting like it don't exist until it becomes so big that it becomes a rage. And rage is when you walk in Walmart and just kill innocent bystanders. Rage is when you walk into a church and you just start shooting, you know. And we don't want you to get to that point. And a lot of times it's because they never said anything. They've been muted so long that they couldn't unmute themselves. But tonight, I believe that somebody is making a decision to unmute. Listen, that's our show for tonight. Again, I want to thank my guests, pastor, Christian counselor, and author, Pastor Shamal Peets. Great interview. And listen, I'll see you guys next Friday. Matter of fact, I won't even be in studio next Friday. I'll be on location next Friday. It's gonna be a different kind of show, but I'll let you know more. I'll let you know more about it next Friday. All right. Until then, men, do me a favor. At the end of the day, be the man. Coach B out. I'll see you next week. Peace.